Hello everybody, my name is Natalie Motonishi and this is my current event presentation. It's titled American Mercenaries. My current event article is titled Cross-Border Patrols, Mercenaries and the KKK, the Long History of Border Militias. It was released by the New York Times. The author is Simon Romero, and it was published on April 25, 2019. About the source. The New York Times is a respected newspaper founded in 1851. It is read and recognized worldwide. About the author. Simon Romero is a national correspondent or on-the-scene reporter based in New Mexico. He works for the New York Times since 1999 and covers immigration, justice, and issues related. He was recognized with some awards, such as the Maria Moore's Cabot Prize for reporting on Latin American and the Caribbean in 2015, and the Robert Spires Benjamin Award for Best Reporting in Any Medium on Latin America in 2014. The intended audience is specifically Americans and Mexicans who care and want to know about the issues at the Mexican-American border, but in general anyone who likes to learn about immigration issues. The current article. So the article says that a right-wing militia called the United Constitutional Patriots were detaining migrants on the border with Mexico the last April of this year. But this is not a new story. This actually has a long history. According to the article, in 1850, armed patrols from Texas crossed illegally into northern Mexico to capture African Americans who escaped from slavery. In 1977, the Ku Klux Klan created its own border patrol in California and Texas to manage the illegal alien problem, as they consider it. In 1986, an armed paramilitary group called the Civilian Material Assistance, CMA, was detaining men, women, and children in the Arizona desert. And in 2005, Minutemen volunteers launched patrols along 23 miles of the border with Mexico. So as we can see, there is a long tradition of border vigilantism against immigrants using different tactics, that sometimes can be violent and intimidating. Sometimes the article also said that sometimes the American government, specifically at the county level, choose not to prosecute the paramilitary groups, or they reduce their time in prison. And they also send the migrants back to their country, so there is no witness in those cases. The connections that I make from this article with events from the past. So I remember we learned that there were American filibusters that used to go to Texas when it was part of Mexico with arms to take land or to settle there. Also, many Anglo-Americans felt and still feel superior to Mexicans and other Latin Americans. As a result, they felt and still feel entitled to mistreat and discriminate against them like they still do, which demonstrates their racism. That is a problem in this country still. The American government doesn't do anything against the mercenaries, or they do just the minimum in order to avoid criticism from society. And this is the same as they did in the past with the filibusters when they didn't prosecute them. Why is this topic important? Why did I choose it? I think that this topic is very important because everyone should be aware of the legacy of mistreatment of immigrants, especially those coming from Mexico and other Latin American countries. However, we know that sometimes people come as far as from India. Also, history has always repeated itself, but in different ways. We'll always view anti-immigrant groups on the basis of race. I choose this topic because I belong to a minority group, so I'm very interested in issues related to minority groups. I also became very interested in Mexican history, which we learn a lot through our class. And also I feel that the more I know, the better I can participate in discussions with informed opinions and be better and be more able to educate others as well. About the bibliography. So my article, as you can see, there is a link where you can find in the New York Times. It was an online article. I also researched about Simon Romero through Wikipedia, and I researched as well about the New York Times using Wikipedia. I also use our youth history book. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.